the MCU Phase 4 wrap-up. And we're going to start off with Moon Knight, the TV series. I mean, this was originally in discussion for development as far back as 2010. I found mentions of Moon Knight coming. So it's been a long time. It took over a decade. We finally got it.
It's one of the better TV series that me personally I do love.
Yeah.
Even though I have been seeing online and stuff where fans potentially wanted a more Spawn-esque version of Moon Knight, because apparently, like we tired saying, is apparently seeing blood and gore makes it more adult, and it makes it vastly different instead of the themes that they want to have a talking point for. I mean, mental health, and in this case, they had put around it with child abuse.
Yeah.
So it's like you can have an adult, an adult superhero show without having blood and gore, but that's all what people really want is
there's that one panel from that one run that's not indicative of Moon Knight where he tore someone's face off, so it must be what Moon Knight's like.
What was that, Bushmaster? I think is that who he
I think he was.
I think it was. Yeah, everybody just talks about that one thing. Again, this goes back to the tried and true, everybody going, see, Jason Momoa was perfect as Aquaman and using images of Sea King. You're like, that's literally the wrong character. Literally not even the same. Like, people get that concept with Moon Knight. You're just like, there's more to him than just that one panel. But overall, I thought the series was great. The last episode is wild. Like, it is. That thing is so impressive.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah. I really enjoyed it from the start. But
yeah, you're technically correct. It's a Bushman, and it's from the 2006 run, so it's not even in the original runs of.
I'm saying it's Moon Knight Max or something, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
That's been.
So yeah, people are referencing that run from a couple of decades ago, and not they're close to his original run. So yeah,
the fact that you said a couple of decades ago hurts so bad.
I know.
I know. I had to correct myself. That's why I heard what I said.
I've already got a backache as it is because I almost fell ass over a tit on the mud walking the dog. But god damn,
I would have went like just really really long time ago, and I had to correct myself. It's only a couple of decades old, so I was like.
So what do you mean the 90s was 30 years ago?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Crazy. Okay, so we're all agreed. Moon Knight, great. Next up.
Yeah, I really like Moon Knight.
Yeah, it's what else is there to say? I know people don't like it because it's not violent enough, but okay, fine.
I say there's some. You can have a conversation about the show with how faithful of an adaptation it actually is, which it does change a lot of what Moon Knight is, but it's not inherently bad because of it. The core of Moon Knight is still there running around.
Yeah,
and it's like this weird. I guess discourse in the show itself is around Moon Knight's actual, his armored costume, because people wanted it to be like his original one, where it's like made of cloth instead of looking like a mummy. Where a lot of people saying they like it, where it has like it's an armored mummy look, where it looks pretty good, and surprisingly, people are okay with the show's rendition of Mr. Knight. Where they said that it did a good job about that suit.
They based that more on Jeff Lemire's run, right, from a couple years ago. Yeah. So I mean, it fits. Like, what are you gonna?
Yeah, it's just that weird, this weird monkey paw thing where his armored Moon Knight suit is quote unquote horrible to a loud minority, but his Mr. Knight suit is loved by everyone because it's a really good job and rendition of that version of the suit.
I think the two suits we got are by far some of the best they've ever done.
Same. Yep.
Yeah. Especially the Mark Spector's one. I think that thing's stunning.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed old Lockley gets one in season 2, because I want the three of them together. And
I want them to do that action sequence where they're alternating suits, but between the third one.
It's going to happen. It's coming.
Yep. Well, okay, off of Moon Knight and expectations, let's talk about how everybody was disappointed because 790 cameos did not happen according to insiders. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Cameos.
like everyone's coming. Even Tobey Maguire is going to show up as that version of Spider-Man to help him out.
Yeah,
I think Maguire was actually supposed to be in it at one point.
I think it was talked about, but they talked about it, but they never really went through with anything. And then there's Ghost Rider was supposed to show up. I'm not entirely sure which Ghost Rider was supposed to show up, but one of them.
Yeah,
people were just taking whatever they could think of. And
people literally looked at the multiverse, being like, okay, what movies exist? Well, clearly that character. I mean, at one point they were saying Eric Bana's Hulk was going to appear in it.
Yeah,
like Shrek Hulk. Yeah. Come on.
And then was it at one point that was Xavier from the X-Men was going to show up to help out too.
He did.
He did. I know he did, but
people were saying McAvoy and Stewart were going to show up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's my second favorite MCU film, but that was kind of like a given. It's like, okay, you got Sam Raimi, you got him essentially making a new Evil Dead film in the MCU. Like, I love this thing.
Yeah, I was like really surprised at what happened with the sequel to Doctor Strange, because I didn't think it was going to be as good. It exceeded my expectations of where they were going to go and what they could actually do with the PG-13 movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, with them, like, I guess re-rotating things around to where the technicality where they were going to make Doctor Strange the focal point of this going forward, with how he's protecting the multiverse and trying to, I guess, see what he can do to protect Earth 616. I know people are mad about that because it's supposed to be like Earth 149 or something like that.
Recurring 9999.
Yeah.
And then, like, I love that they actually went in with the comic book stuff. I know when we talked about with our review of Multiverse of Mass, where people were mad that it's too comic booky. I'm like, what do you expect? It's like this is what.
Yeah, we've come at this point now, right? Like, it's is it too comic booky? People now it's like, oh no, now it's too comic booky. Like, it's okay. He's gone full circle.
Yeah,
but I found it interesting, and I think you can see it in the final movie. That this was originally supposed to be a Scarlet Witch solo movie.
There is
and it was eventually reworked to be a Doctor Strange.
I get the feeling it was supposed to be the Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch were supposed to be co-protagonists, but they reworked it to be mostly about Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I think that was after, because it might not even be true, but like it was originally developed as a Scarlet Witch solo movie. Then it became Doctor Strange, where the two of them were together, and then it was reworked to, because this movie changed like 8 different times.
Yeah. I mean, remember, the initial script to the major changes by Derrickson 3 times, to Sam Raimi coming on, redoing it completely twice, and then a major rewrite so they could finish it like 6 weeks out from the film's premiere. Like, this thing was, again, it was chopped up a lot. So
it's amazing it came out actually looking like a movie.
Yeah, it really is.
But it would explain why everyone's kind of forgotten how to read a character arc for certain people, especially certain specific female characters, and it's all let's ignore the brainwashing and the possession. Let's blame it on them. But
well, I mean, Doctor Strange then came, it went, and we were quickly followed up by another MCU project. This, of course, being Ms.Marvel. So this was a long time coming as well. Like,
yeah, it's really good, but great show. Though I did kind of miss how much effort and work went into some of the later episodes, because you saw the uniqueness from like the first 2 episodes of where like they were using art from like the graffiti to exemplify what's going on, especially like with the text messages and stuff, or the kites rearranging to text messages and stuff like that, to where you would see that barely at all near the end. And then I'm still up in the air about changing her powers for the most part. And now
still salty about it.
Yeah, and now currently she is a mutant, not the first mutant, but she is a mutant so far, and not an Inhuman. So
I'm still on the copium that it's why would him saying it make it like factually that she is a mutant? Like, what does he know? Like, he's just some dumb kid. Like, shut up, Bruno. There's a reason no one talks about Bruno. Go away.
And then, like, I'm still trying to like I'm still trying to remember the villains of.
Clandestines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because like they're not like the clandestines in the comics, or if anything at all. It's just they're just there to push the plot along and then be forgotten when most of
They
the
They literally show up to drop exposition and then to literally die. They literally just show up exposition and die. You're like, oh, okay.
They are absolutely, without a doubt, the worst villains they've ever had. Like, Malekith doesn't even come.
It's like we have one of them. It's like we have one of them left, and then oops, we got cosmic stuff to worry about now. So we'll push them off to the corner.
That's the thing. Like, they're just lucky that everything else in the show was so good that you can overlook that and still go, it was a good show, because that was. If
I can even put my own feelings aside about specific choices changed for the character, like take the villains out and that bit out, and it's still a really good show. Even though I've said it countless times with this show. This has the same problem Peacemaker had. Where it's like you did the wrong villains, and you then had a secondary villain which should have been the focus.
I'm glad that 3 people that saw Peacemaker will know what you're talking about, and that consists of you, Delton, and Nick.
With those 3 or 4 people who watched it, it's getting a second season. So,
woohoo!
I can't wait for it to literally just be a rehash of what the movie before it is.
Yeah. Amazing. So, yeah, Ms. Marvel, it was good.